Hi, I'm Darren. These are my hands, and this is a chess set because today on GrooTube we're going to talk about the Groo Themed Chess Set that you didn't know that you wanted to buy, but now you really want one. All right, what do we got here in issue 24 of, it's a puzzle piece. Get that over there. The other day, while I was putting together Sergio Aragonés' World's Funniest Sports Puzzle with a few dozen friends online, we were talking about all the Groo merchandise and toys that we'd love to buy, and Holden Humphreys mentioned his idea of a Groo chess set. And right here in issue 24 of the epic Marvel run, we see Groo seeking the Black Rook from King Ajedrez's chess set. Now, of course, Groo's way too dumb to ever be a chess player, but wouldn't it be great to have a chess set that was Groo themed? So, thinking about some of the things that we were talking about on the live stream, some of the characters that would make great Groo chess pieces, I present to you today my ideas for what characters would make for a great Groo chess set. Now, a couple ground rules for building this chess set. Each piece, of course, has to be a character from the Groo comics. Pawns are probably going to be generic. They'll be like a group of people, not necessarily characters themselves. Groo himself is not going to be a playable piece. That would just cause too much trouble. Of course, everybody sees Groo as a pawn, but really, 16 Groos on the chessboard? That just seems like a bad idea to me. Besides, he's so strong. He's invincible practically. Does that mean that he would have to be the queen? Would there be 2 Groo pieces on the board? It just seems to me that Groo as a chess piece himself is something to steer clear of, so I'm going to do that. Each army, black and white, is going to be unique in my chess set. Now maybe it could be Groo's family on one side and his non-family on the other side. Maybe we would have a side of women characters and a side of men characters. It could be evil versus good. Although, with Groo characters, it's kind of hard to tell who would be on what side. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of make a friends and foes Groo-themed chess set. Is anybody really Groo's friend? Actually, yes. But I think that I'm going to build up a chess set that is mostly good guys that are friendly towards Groo versus mostly sort of bad guys who are antagonistic towards Groo. All right, before I actually tell you my choices for the Groo chess set, I'd like to present a few honorable mentions, some fun pairings perhaps that I ended up not using. Let's talk about kings first. Of course, there are many kings in the Grooniverse. 2 of the very first kings that we see are King Kassabist and King Kohan, and I thought maybe they would be fun kings to have on a Groo chess set, but I didn't use them. When I think of bishops in a game of chess, I think of the brains on the chessboard. These are the smart people, the conniving people. Perhaps they'd be like the wizards from Groo's universe. So of course I thought of the Great Wizard from Epic issue number 26. Maybe he'd have his pointy nose with the tip cut off bandaged up. And I also thought of the Shaman from issue number 22. That could be an interesting bishop piece. But in the end, I decided to go somewhere else. Next we have the Knights. Knights are kind of this combination of brains and brawn. They're powerful, they're clever. I guess there aren't a lot of powerful, clever people in the Groo universe. But I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun to have a nice pairing of Rufferto and Mulch as knights on the chessboard? Unfortunately, I didn't get either of those 2 doggos on my set, so I wanted to mention them here. Also, Princess Thais. When you think of noble, strong, wise characters in the Groo universe, there aren't many of them. Thais is one. She would make a good knight too, I think. Rooks. When I think of the rooks on a chessboard, I think of the muscle of a chessboard. Big characters, strong characters, maybe monsters. Rooks would be great places for characters like the Gordosa or Arenya, maybe the Krakora or that four-armed destroyer from Destroyer Duck number 1. Dragons would go very well in the corner of the chessboard where the rooks belong. Maybe Flume Flume, or the Title Dragon, or the dragon from Friends and Foes. Plenty of fun dragons that Sergio could sculpt and place in the corners. But that's not where I went. Finally, we've got the ranks of the pawns. And as I said, I thought it would be fun to have a group of people represented by the pawns, perhaps an army. We've got the Title Maidens. Wouldn't that be neat? Or the Serenas. If we've got the Gordosa in the corner, maybe the Gorditos could be an army. Of course, Taranto's men might be a fun set of pawns to have. Or maybe Gruella's guards. But that's not where I went. So stop teasing us already, Darren. Who does make up your chessboard? Well, let me tell you. Let's start with the white side of the chessboard, and particularly with the white queen. Who is good? Who is strong? Who is powerful? I think it's pretty obvious who the white queen should be. No one other than Queen Chakal herself. I'd love to hear it if you can think of any other arguments for the best white queen on a Groo-themed chess set, but for me, it's gotta be Chakal. She is regal, she is royal, she is powerful, she can best just about anyone. The white queen, Chakal. How about the white king? We need go no farther than Groo number 13 and the tale of King Sage. I think even if there was not an issue about King Sage, many of us would think that the sage deserves to have that kingly spot on the good side of the chessboard. But put a crown on his head, it's gotta be King Sage for me, even if things didn't really work out well for King Sage in the comic. All right, bishops. Good bishops? Friendly bishops towards Groo? Well, that's kind of a tough one, especially when I'm thinking that I want to deal with wizard-type people. And while most of the time they wouldn't consider themselves friends of Groo, I'm going to put Arba and Decarbra in the bishop spot of my Groo-themed chessboard. Their brains are just as fallible as anyone's in the Groo universe, but I think that they would make a great pair on either side of the white king and queen. And now, as we talk about the knights, how can I fail to bring up the Dark Horse Comics logo that was on the first Groo comics? How'd you like to have a funny-looking knight like that on your chessboard? It'd be pretty good. But I want to suggest for the knights on the white side of the Groo chessboard, Arcadio and the Minstrel. Obviously, Arcadio is knightly. At least I think that he would see himself as noble and strong and true. The Minstrel, that describes his character as well. And I really want to include him in the chess set. Next up, the rooks on the white side of the chessboard. I want to include two stout, powerful ladies in these positions. Bunta, the bride-to-be of Groo, and Matcha, another solid romantic interest of our favorite wanderer. Think of those two hulking ladies in the corners. Powerful, strong, formidable. Bunta and Matcha, your rooks on the white side. So what about the pawns on the front rank of the board? For the army representing the white pawns, I've decided that it would be fun if we had a Cantor army, a bunch of ape soldiers pressing forward into the fray, representing good? Okay, I guess that's where it falls apart. But I think it would be pretty neat to have a Cantor army racing across the chessboard. All right, onto the black side of the board. Who is going to be our black queen? Well, of course, it's going to be Gruella. She is a queen. Is she evil? Well, she's definitely antagonistic towards Groo. And I think that she would be a wonderful piece opposite Chakal. For the Black King, I was thinking that maybe Granny Groo would be a fun person to put there. But in the end, Emperor Sakasama is who I chose to represent the Black King. He's a king, an emperor. And no, I wouldn't necessarily call him evil or an enemy of Groo, but I think that he works very well on that side of the board, especially with that nose that matches Queen Gruella's. How about the Black Bishops? I was saying originally that I thought wizards would be a great character to put on the chessboard. Well, in Pacific Comics Groo number 6, The Wizard War, we meet Calcutto and Grativo. I think both would be worthy wizards to have on either side of the Black King and Queen, but I'm going to remove Calcutto and replace him with the Witch of Con. So Grativo and the Witch of Con are my choices for the Black Bishops. When it comes to knights, well, I got something a little special going on here. And I can't believe I haven't pulled out Pacific Comics number 1, where we first meet Taranto, my pick for one of the Black Knights. And I thought that this would be fun if on the other side of the board, the clever scheming knight and the powerful rook would be represented by Pal and Drum. The brains and the schemes of Pal, the might and the brawn of Drum. I think they'd look great beside each other in the corner of a chessboard. But who's going to play that other rook in the corner? Otoman, the invincible, or maybe not so invincible, but what a powerful guy to have in your corner of the black pieces. Finally, we've got the Black Pawns. And heading back to Pacific Comics, number 6, I really wanted to have an army of lizard men on the board, and what I decided in the end was that an army of Calcutto's phantom lizard soldiers would be great as the front rank of the black chess pieces on our Groo-themed chessboard. So what do you think? Did you like my picks for a Groo-themed chessboard? Who would you put on the black side and the white side? Leave a comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please make sure that you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because I will be back soon with some more GrooTube. Take care, everybody. Oh, Chakal, you are wise and strong. You'd make a fantastic queen.